I don't want to start getting into where you were previous that day, but I feel like a puppet master was playing some games with you, and it really disturbed me.
Yo, Jimmy, you know what? I appreciate.
And I'm not putting it on Marty, by the way.
Okay, so I appreciate.
I'm putting it on the puppet master.
I appreciate.
I'm putting it on the puppet master. Okay.
You giving that person that much credit?
You know what?
Because that's way more.
Listen, dude. Listen. You're making a show about somebody else. This is a grown ass man.
I'm trying to explain.
This is a grown ass man.
Day.
Yo,
I
dude.
understand he's a grown. I'm trying to explain to him how this felt.
I'm serious. I'm about to fucking walk right the fuck out. Because this is the shit I knew was gonna happen.
What do you mean?
This is the bullshit.
Well, what
You're
would you
fucking
like to have
kowtowing to him.
I'm not kowtowing to him at all.
Well,
I'm explaining to him how I felt.
Look, I knew it could do two different ways.
Dude, you want to fight him? Go ahead.
I'm not
get out of the way. And you two can fucking have at it, because at the end of the day, this was
what? I actually don't mind that goddamn shit.
Whoa,
I actually don't mind that shit. Damn, dude. Bro.
Welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast out of Indie Music TV. Here out of Ronkonkoma, Long Island, Monte and the Pharaoh. And to my right is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh. Jimmy, how are you?
Greetings, back again.
Back again from 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, maybe 5 minutes.
How'd you like the Tommy Rich interview?
Awesome. I love Tommy Rich. Great guest, and that was kick-ass.
That was kick-ass.
That was awesome.
And being WWE guys, right? You know, you made a difference, right? Because we weren't into
Tommy Rich was big time when we were into it. Go on.
And we got a special guest, another future Hall of Famer, Mr. Marty Jannetty, in studio. But before we get to him, I want to thank the band that sings our theme song, Wisteria Hall. They sing such great songs as Riding High, our theme song.
Yes.
Oops. In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. And you can find their music on Spotify, iTunes, and Reverb Nation. Monte and the Pharaoh can be seen on YouTube, the Monte and the Pharaoh page, Facebook Live Monte and the Pharaoh page, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV Monte and the Pharaoh page, RTF Sports Network, soon to be All Access Sports.
Okay.
On Thursday from 8 to 9, and then on Monday from 10 to 11, their anchor show.
Very good.
On channel 115, that's cable TV, ladies and gentlemen. That's on Tuesday from 8:30 to 9 p.m. And for early risers, channel 115, 6 a.m. to 6:30, way too early for you, but in case someone gets up that early.
That's when I
on
black
channel
out.
20, on Saturday morning at 1:30 in the morning, more your and Marty Jannetty speed.
That's right.
Because you guys are up partying.
We'll be up
and you're
partying
getting
and
home
watching. Right.
and doing whatever you guys do, right?
Yep.
We'll be back with future Hall of Famer and WWE superstar, Mr. Marty Jannetty, after this commercial break.
Good thing you. And Varola Worldwide Logistics for all your logistic needs. Please call 862-227-3670. Once again, that's 862-227-3670. Varola Worldwide Logistics.
Jimmy, I just got the best hookup on tickets.
Fill me in.
I went to www.seatslinks.com and ordered the best tickets with the best prices.
Call 718-676-0504. SeatsLink, the complete ticket experience.
Tell them Charles sent you. You want to star in your own success? Call QuickCast. www.quickcast.com. 866-7-CAST-NOW. That's 866-7-CAST-NOW. QuickCast.
Start your own success.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monte and the Pharaoh, seen every Thursday, produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. And sitting at the bench for a third time. That's 3 times.
Yeah.
Future Hall of Famer, WWE superstar, and the man of the hour, Mr. Marty. Wait, the invisible Marty Jannetty. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, man. MJ in the house.
Are you sure? I can't tell.
Hey, let me tell you what happened, though. This is reminding me with this mask and the glasses. I was living over. Can I take them off now?
Sure. You look like Claude Rains.
God,
Go
that's
on.
hot, man.
Claude Rains.
He
I
played the
wonder some
Invisible
people.
Man.
Trump needs to keep wearing them, but man, it's hot. I was over. Now to get the point across, I was over in England. I was living in Liverpool, and every morning we'd go to the gym. On the way we'd stop by the bank and buy money orders so you could send it home because you could only come across the border with so much money. So we had to sneak it like that. And I just told on everybody. But it was cold, snowing one morning. I stopped by the bank, get out of the cab, and I had a big old jacket on, covered in face, had the sunglasses. Had it zipped up like this, and I got my gym bag with me. And I walk into the bank like this, come in with a gym bag. And the door's locked behind me, alarms go off, and there's like little fences come down, blocking the tellers. I'm like, what the? Can we cuss on the show?
Yeah. Sure.
What the fuck is happening? And I'm like, oh, God damn.
So wait a minute. Why are you wearing a mask, though, in England?
No, it wasn't a mask. I had it zipped up.
Oh, okay, you had it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it was snowing cold.
Yeah.
Cold out there. So, I had the jacket on. And I had my gym bag with me. Boy, I could have left that in the cab, but I was afraid he might run off with it. So you walk in a bank with sunglasses on, zipped up to here, and a bag.
Nice.
Fill it up.
Do you ever think
It was
that
on the news that night too. Their local news.
what did it say? Wrestling superstar arrested robbing bank?
Yeah, American wrestler stirs up attention at the bank.
That's a shocker. That's a surprise.
I figured the headline would be Marty Strikes Again.
What the?
TMZ headline: Marty robs bank. What? 3 weeks later.
Barclay. It was Barclay.
It was a
one
work.
Of the bigger banks over there. Barclay. Man, the doors locked behind me and like chain things come down in front of the. I'm just watching all this and everybody's hitting the ground. There was like 3 other people in there. They're hitting the ground. I'm like, what?
So what, they enclose you in like a cube?
They lock you in.
It's kind of like the Get Smart thing where the walls are dropping at every level. Very interesting.
Well, they block the cashiers off. The thing blocks them. You can't get to them. And then they lock you in, so they're going to get you.
You're afraid you're going to throw a drop kick or something? I don't understand.
Let me ask you, Mark.
He's a wrestler.
Did you ever think you would be in a time where with this whole COVID thing and political unrest, what are your viewpoints of what's going on in the world right now, brother?
At one point I thought, it's just another. It's bad, obviously. It's contagious. It's killing people. So is the flu. So is a lot of things. And so I thought, they politicized it. To make it and trying to turn it into Trump's fault. Like he invented it. I think when it's able to be told, which it can't be right now. I keep looking over here and the camera's here. Is that messing things up?
No, you're good, brother. Go ahead.
Is it okay? Okay. Just so y'all know at home, they're over there, so I'm talking over here. But I think China put that out on us. That's the new way of war, biological weapons.
Biological warfare. Okay.
And Trump was whipping their ass in the trade war. So.
Correct. He was taking it to them business-wise.
So it's pretty clear that you're on the right. For sure, right?
Trump and I are friends. I got some stories.
Let's keep it.
Let's hear one.
Let's be real.
Got a little Trumpster story?
Well, my favorite one with him, I'd met him the first time at WrestleMania 5. Because it was at Trump Towers.
Mm-hmm.
It was this place, Trump Plaza, wherever it was. And, he come up and, shook my hand. He said he was a big fan. Oddly, somehow he didn't really take to Sean that well.
That's a surprise.
That's interesting.
Well, it might have been because Sean was just not standoffish, but he was just so nervous he came off.
Was he nervous in Donald Trump's presence? I mean, we're talking about 2 very big egos.
I think it was WrestleMania 5. That was a big deal to us.
Yeah,
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Trump always had that kind of aura?
When I first met him, I just thought he's a casino owner. We met 1,000 of them.
Right.
Did you ever imagine he'd be president of the United States someday when you first met him?
No, he did. If he would have mentioned it, I would have thought maybe. But what he did with it was so cool. I thought was pretty cool. We met that day. We did photo ops. He kept telling me he was a big fan, which I appreciated. But I thought, he's just talking shit.
Okay.
And that night at the casino, I'm down there with my girl. Beautiful, long, blonde-haired girl I've been seeing for a while. We're down there, about midnight, gambling away, and You know, nervous about the next day because me and Sean, the two smallest guys in the company, had to take on one-man gang, a big boss man. Two biggest guys, 6'7", 6'6", 350 pounds, 375 pounds, and our little asses. And it's our first WrestleMania. Man, how are we going to make this look good? You know, so we were nervous to death. We were down there drinking and trying to gamble and keep our mind off of it until, you know, till you had to. And, you know, Trump come walking up. I just walked away from the craps table, and I see him walking up. And he's about midnight. He's checking on his place. I got to throw him respect on that too. You know, he's checking on his place. At midnight, he's coming through to see, you know, who's doing what. But I see him. He sees me. He smiles, and I'm like, well, damn. He does recognize me away from, you know, and he comes right up to me. He goes, "How you doing, Marty?" And I'm like, "Oh, I feel all right." He goes, "No, how you doing?" Well, I said, "Oh, you know, win some, lose some." And he smiled. He goes, "Yes." And I introduced Ray Lynn. That was her name, and you know, "Hey, how you doing?" And he looked at the guy and says, "Give him a 500 marker." And to the guy at the craps table, which I didn't know as much as I'm in casinos. I didn't know. I've heard of it, but I didn't know what it meant. So after he walked off, he said, "Good luck." I asked the guy, I said, "What's the 500 marker?" He goes, "Basically, he just gave you $500 to gamble with." Or do what you.
Yeah,
I
right.
played one hand, it wouldn't cash out. No, I didn't do that. You know, I didn't do that, DT. I wouldn't do that to you.
You didn't take Donald's money.
Yeah, but you know, so you know that happened, and then 2 years later, at WrestleMania 7, he was with Marla Maples. I think she was guest hosting or something. And that was a fun day, man. Willie Nelson, you know, was there. It's a good story with him with the Nasty Boys. See, I heard about it.
No, it's
Well, I'll tell you if you want to know.
Yeah.
But sticking with Trump real quick, DT, we'll call him DT because Trump, that's his stage name.
I guess.
You know, DT, he was walking. Now I had a different girl. Her name was Colleen, and
You, a different girl? Shocking. Go on.
but long blonde hair, very similar looking.
Okay.
You know, now this is 2 years later, and you know, I got my arm around her. I'm all excited. WrestleMania 7, and this time, you know, we can make it look good because we got Barbarian and Haku. You know, that one we can make. You know, we actually ended up making it. I think they were called the Twin Towers. Maybe.
That was a great match. I was there live. That
Yeah,
was a
I
great
would
match.
say
You did a great job.
It turned out good. We did that double drop kick off the top rope to the middle, which nobody's with all the stuff going on today. It's still, I ain't seen nobody do that one. But so I'm walking by with her. Here he comes. He's that smile he's got, you know, and he goes, "Marty, you always have a beautiful girl under your arms." And I smiled and thought about it, and she got all giddy and stuff because she knew who it was. And we walked off and whatever. I went back to his dressing room later, and he's sitting there in his dressing room waiting on Marla to do something. And I said, "Man, you got me in trouble." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "That was my wife." And he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I'm doing like this, and I lost. I said, "I'm just kidding." And he goes, "You know what though? I learned something there." Then see, he's a smart guy. First, it impressed me. He knew the difference in those two girls. I mean, attention to detail, especially when it was pretty women. but you know, but then too, like from the prank, he like learned like, you can't say that, you know, because the guys, you know. So I actually got a joke on him. I felt like, you know, because he was so upset. Like, that was my wife. he was so. I'm so sorry. And I'm trying not to, let it go yet. Let him. But
What's your take on the president of the United States coming down with the COVID virus?
Good question.
Well, some things I can't say that I might know, because there's some things that I'd be eliminated if I said. But I don't know. There's all kinds of ways it could go. Trump's a lot like me, and I'm a lot like him. Sometimes we do storylines.
Sometimes.
I don't know. Has he got, if it wasn't for Melania having it, but see, I included somebody in my last storyline that got worldwide attention, and included one of my girls, Winsome, to make the story more believable. So I don't know. Is Trump,
So let me.
Are we being worked?
Well,
Is that what
Hey!
it's getting
I
at?
think
Is
that's
this
what
your
that's what
work?
doing?
he's getting at.
What's that?
Is this your work? Is that what you're getting at with the president's current supposed medical condition?
Eric, what do you think? Could Trump be pulling off some kind of work? You don't think so?
We got to know in the.
So
in the
James Comey probably got him then, right?
I don't know. Let's go look at it.
I better be quiet.
Boy, there's
I better
there's
be
a whole
real
bunch of
quiet.
different things that could not be. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Marty, I want you to weigh in on road.
Wait, let me tell you about that same
Oh,
night.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
WrestleMania 7.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there talking with Willie because I think he's singing the national anthem. I think that's what he was doing that night.
Willie Nelson.
What was the main event of WrestleMania 7?
I think it was
blank.
Macho Man and Warrior. Because it seems like
So it was Slaughter Hogan.
It
then.
was Slaughter
Okay.
Hogan.
Slaughter
they
Hogan.
must have been semi. Because I just remember what's his name, Randy getting up there, dropping about 6 of them finishing elbows on him.
Yeah, yep.
And then Warrior gets up anyway. But I was sitting there, and funny too, Trump had made Marlon Maples a household name. And then word in the streets was he actually had a bet with one of his buddies he would make her a household name, and I guess he won that bet.
Yep, he did.
But she was, at least that particular day, and sorry Marla, I don't know you that well, just from that day. What a bitch she was being,
Really?
Yeah, and
Surprised Don would put up with that. I bet you she wasn't that way towards him, at least not for long, as we know.
yeah, you'd have to ask him. I don't know.
But she was hot though.
She was that,
crazy
but
hot.
but somebody needs to teach her how to dress. She had her skirt or dress on that was hemmed up too high in the front. I mean, it looked like she bought it at Walmart. Uh-oh, I'm not supposed to mention
No,
that.
it's,
But
What did it come across like that look when the old days when they pull their pants up too high with the belt buckle?
yeah,
or
something like Sean
That
used to
looks
do.
terrible.
like Sean used to do.
Yeah, Sean used to pull his blue jeans up under his chest. And a big old Texas belt buckle.
Over his belly button. I mean, all
Up here, man. I
by
was
his
like, man,
nipples?
put him down, son.
terrible.
But he had a male camel toe. He'd have him up.
I say, what?
But so anyway,
How do we know
Marlon.
that Sean had camel toe? This is messed up. Go on. Back to DT.
Yeah, DT's sitting there, we're having to put up with, well, we are, put up with her little sassy ass. And
Cheap
Nasty
dress.
Boys, they won the title that night.
Okay.
Right? And so afterwards, she's interviewing them, right? And then she'd been a little bitch, like I said, sorry, Mar. But,
He's killing it. Go on. Sorry.
they shook the bottle up, of champagne,
Yeah.
and then popped the top and squirted it all over her, man.
Oh my God.
She was so mad, but she had to finish the interview. And she looks like a wet rat. Smelled like one too. But she was waving the microphone back and there. But she, oh man, when that interview was over, she went storming in the hallway, throwing a temper tantrum, having a fit.
Was like Vince running over there, like, calm down? Or...
No, I walked off laughing. I don't know. I was looking for another bottle, get her one more time.
Hey, man, I want to get a little serious with you. Just recently, we lost a road warrior animal. I understand that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you actually introduced his wife, Kim, to him. Is
Kim
that
and Joe,
true?
yeah.
Could you tell that story and maybe share some thoughts on Road Warrior?
Yeah, Joe, both of them, Joe and Mike, we were all real good friends. Joe didn't really party that much. In fact, I don't know that he partied at all. But Mike and I, Hawk, Road Warrior Hawk, and I, we partied a lot together. A lot of us did. And Joe was always kind of the more business and more quiet, stick to the script kind of shit. At least what I knew of him, which I knew pretty good. But as far as the wife, I think she's from Houston, and her and I were real good friends at one time. And I was sitting talking to her. Joe walked by, and I hate to, no, I can't, because Kimmy might see this. Well, it's just kidding, sort of, Kimmy. It was that night that you were talking so much, I was like, damn. Joe walked by and said, hey, so I introduced them. Next thing I know, they're married.
Oh, wait. So it's like You're like, I got to get out of this Kim deal and walk off. So let me
Yeah,
introduce
man.
him to Joe.
I don't know if she don't do cocaine as far as I know.
Right.
But I don't know what the hell was going on. It was, yep. And if COVID had been around there, I'd have caught it. I'd have had it. But yeah, so I introduced him. It's just like they tell her because she banned. I mean, she's still, very pretty girl. I think she's probably watching this.
She's a very pretty girl. Very pretty. Yeah.
But her younger day, bro, she was a typical Texas Rose, man. She was knock them all out.
Your thoughts when you heard he had passed, because this was obviously a shock to the community, the
What's
wrestling
that?
community. When Road Warrior passed, what were your thoughts?
Man, I started getting phone calls right away because a lot of the boys knew that we were pretty good. At first it was hard to believe because like not Joe. This man's in shape. This guy's, he's healthy. He don't do, as far as I know, don't do any drugs. There's no way. It's just not possible. Is what I kept thinking. And then the more the calls come in, I guess it is true. And it broke me down a little bit. We flipped these on for our crying ear. Real rockers aren't supposed to cry, I don't think, but actually they do. But yeah, it was heartbreaking, and the first thing I thought about was Kimmy. Like, I know it's crushing her because I think they just celebrated the night before their anniversary. So you got this big event, and then that happens. They didn't have no details like what happened. Did he just keep walking and fall over, or did, from what I understand, he just didn't wake up or something. And I considered that because that's kind of what happened to Hulk. Hulk had told me that right before, brother, I've worked so damn hard today without any drugs. And because I think he'd quit and he'd straightened up. It's funny when you straighten up is when shit goes wrong. But he, Hulk, they were moving or something. He was telling me he'd moved a ton of furniture. Because I used to do that before I got in wrestling for North American Van Line. So I'd move furniture all day long. 8 hours of stacking the truck, then drive the tractor-trailer truck to unload it the next day. It's wrestling with furniture is a workout. But Mike told me that. He said, "Brother, you even kidding about this working? God damn, the furniture, wrestling with furniture shit. I thought I was a badass." And then I guess he died in his sleep. The heart just gave out.
Marty, you're a tag team legend, obviously. Where is the Road Warriors to you? Are they the greatest tag team in the history of this business, the Road Warriors?
I think so, but in the fact they probably drew the most money, which that's what it's all about. But they changed the game. They changed the industry. When they came in, there wasn't guys that were like, there was a big guy here, a big guy there, but the character that came with it. The haircuts, the personality, the romping, stomping, you couldn't hurt them. The Iron Man song, the whole thing, man, just changed. It changed the industry, bigger and faster than anything else I've ever seen. I've been around it for 30. I've been in it for 35 years. Been around it for 45 years. No, I've never seen nothing like that. Nothing like that.
How do you cope with this though? It just seems like we talk about this all the time. The wrestling community, you guys have gotten so close with each other, and maybe people pass faster than normal people. I mean, it's got to be tear at you when you build these kind of relationship, and this happens, right?
And like you said about the bond, we bond. I almost want to say like war mates, but I don't want to take away from people that actually war. Like my brother, served in Vietnam, so I wouldn't dare say that. It's like we go to war together.
Right.
But it's in a sense we do, because especially when we go to other countries, we're the only ones that know each other, and a lot of times. When you go in these, sorry, I fixed my paper tooth. I'll explain that.
What do you got, a paper tooth? What? I'm gonna hear about that next.
How do you eat steak?
I take the paper out.
You gotta take the paper tooth out, of course.
Sometimes a big piece will get clogged in the gap.
How do you clean that paper tooth? It's paper.
I get another piece of paper.
So we just like put a piece
I've
of...
got some. I'll show you. I've got my replacement.
Yeah, I
teeth
want to
here.
see what a paper tooth looks like.
What?
I think I got it
Are
here.
you reaching for more paper teeth?
Right now,
What is going
Well,
on
because this
here?
one only lasts so
wrestling
long.
icon Marty Jannetty reaching for his paper tooth.
Here it is.
There it is, paper tooth.
What?
And see, the problem, my teeth are so yellow. I got to drink coffee to darken this, so it matches.
You can put the mask back on now, bro. It's
Yeah, that's the real reason I had this on. I didn't want y'all to see it.
Claude
And what-
Rains, he's coming back. Here he goes.
What had
The
happened
genetic-
was, you know what? That's what he's doing the bullshit, right? What had happened was, yeah, I was helping out. I was being a little cocky and arrogant, teaching some kids how to hit the post, the ring post. You know, make it look real good.
Sure.
I made it look real good and knocked my damn tooth
Oh,
out.
man.
I was sitting there going, I ain't even getting paid for this.
Oh.
So until I get the
The implant.
replacement thing, the real one. Those things are expensive too, man.
Bro, you ain't kidding, man.
All right, Mr. Lightning Rod, I got to ask you, as the wrestling world may know, and others outside the wrestling world may possibly know now, recently there was a big story about your claim that you made a man disappear after an attempted rape on your person as a teenager. When this was presented to me, I absolutely took this at face value until I either A, heard from you, or B, heard that it was anything other than to be taken seriously. Would you like to fill us in on what happened here,
Well,
please?
for those that don't know, what had happened was when I was 13 years old, I worked at a bowling alley in Columbus, Georgia, where I'm from, and there was a bunch of us kids that worked there, you know, because they'd pay us under the table. You ain't supposed to work till you're 16 in Georgia. I don't know how it is anywhere else, but we were 13, and back then we smoked a little weed, and this guy supplied it. This guy, it was the gay guy that worked at he worked the front desk. His name was Bob. Imagine that, Bob and Neil, his best friend. But they
Where I come from, that's funny, too bad. Go on.
but, you know, I'm gonna get in trouble again. So a lot of the guys would hustle because he would pay the kids, the young boys. He'd pay them $50. This is way back. I'm talking about 1974 or something. He'd pay them $50 to blow them. And a lot of the guys went for the hustle. They like, yeah, 13 years old. Give me $50. And 2 or 3 times a week, they could buy a car pretty soon.
And a carton of chapstick. Go on.
No, they didn't have to do the blowing. They just had to sit there and get blown. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was
Oh, they
paying
were
$50.
receiving. They weren't pitching.
That would be a catcher.
That's
then.
receiving. That's not pitching.
So that'd be a catcher.
Yeah. Now we got Goodfellas talk going on here. Anyway, go on. So, $50 for a Bob and Neil.
So we smoked a little weed back then.
Wait, Marty, real quick.
What?
So you're actually talking. These guys. Oh yeah, I'm letting them blow me. It's fine. And
No, not me.
No, but I get it. But you
That's what he said,
these guys
you.
are very open with their comment. It's $50, bro. It's all good.
I was
This is-
13 years old. Shit.
this must be the
we
70s.
We
This
weren't
has
making
to
that
be
much
the-
at the bowling alley. We're getting like $3.10 back then. Your minimum wage was $3.35, but if you were part time,
Wow.
you got even less. We got like $3.10 an hour.
Wow.
Well, shit, one blowjob and you made more than you could make in a couple of weeks.
In the 70s, this is serious cash. Go on.
Yeah.
It is. Go on.
Oh my God.
But it is, mathematically. Okay, so we've set the mathematical parameters.
All
What
right.
happens from here?
Yeah, so I was going to get a bag of weed from him, a $50 bag of 40. It was actually $40. Back then it was
$40 in
called a
19
lid.
That's a lot of weed in 1974.
It's
$40
an ounce.
Look at you.
And they called it a lid back then. You get to buy a lid.
That's a lid and the whole pail, too. But
Yeah.
Go on. Yeah.
And so I was going to buy a lid, $40. It's that Mexican dirt weed, but still. Oh,
That's
you can't.
the worst of the weed. I know what he's
It
talking
is
about.
dirt weed.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's horrible. It's got seeds in it. Go on.
yeah, and dirt.
Dirt.
So we went out to his car in front of the bowling alley where he was working, and sat there and made the transaction. Got the bag. And he probably figured, like all the other kids there, and he reaches over and he touches him between the legs and goes, "What's this?" And I'm like, no. And I think what he was thinking we would trade off. You know,
He's thinking you only make it $3.10 an hour. There's no way you can afford $50 worth a week.
I guess.
So, yeah.
And he was just thinking I'll blow you for the bag.
Exactly.
You know?
Let's even
But
trade.
I'm like, no, and just shoved his hand away, like, let's go get out the car and, go back in.
Right.
And that's kind of where the story should have ended, because that actually happened.
Okay.
And then, but then, he got a little aggressive outside the car. And I'm telling y'all the story that if you haven't heard it before. And he tried to pull me around to the back of the bowling alley and have his way, And I was just 13. He got me down to get on top of me. He's trying to unbutton my pants. And there was a brick right there, bam, upside his head. And evidently it was too hard in the temple area or something. And he rolled over, or fell over. That was it. Now I got to figure out what to do. I'm 13. Now I got a dead body here. What do I do with it? And there's a river, Chattahoochee River is right behind it. And I thought, they find bodies in there. That's where everybody dumps their bodies around here. When there was some bad people around back then, like mafia type people, that's where the river there. So I figured drag him to the river, and throw him in. I was 13. I didn't know what to do. Probably could have just called the police, said he tried to get me. I hit him.
Sure.
But how many of us have been in that situation where, somebody's trying to rape you and you hit them and then they die? You don't know what you're going to do. I panicked. I'm 13 years old. That has never happened before. And so drug him to the river and threw him in. But the thing that got me in trouble is I told about it on Facebook. And, first of all, they blocked me for it. And then secondly, man, like wildfire, it went everywhere. Every news outlet, every wrestling site.
But what made you, after all these years, feel like you had to tell the story?
I think it had to do with my girl Winnie, the one pictured at the bottom, the black girl at the bottom. There should be. There was in the Facebook post. And we had a little spat or something, a little argument, and it kind of hurt my feelings, but her jealousy, and it hurt me because I said next time you get jealous, about something, and it's not into jealousy, and I guess I have CTE real bad, by the way. That's brain damage from concussions. I've had quite a few of them over 30 years of wrestling. And so, I got caught one of the moments, with my CTE moments, because you can get in a weird place where you don't know if you're hallucinating or is this real. You don't know. I'm going to tell you some stories about that. We probably should talk about CTE in a little bit anyway.
Sure.
But so, I thought, I wrote, that was the last time I told myself, that kind of hurt me a little bit, having to dispose of a body like that. But the man was trying to hurt me, and I said, that was the last time anybody was going to try to hurt me. And that's why I was trying to get the point across to her that, you just hurt me. And I said that would never happen again, but you won't never get another chance. But so the whole thing, told that because of the pain that it reminded me of a severe pain that, I never knew a pain like that before when I was 13.
Did you realize how public this was going to get in like police involvement?
No, hell no. I didn't even realize that night when I was writing it that I was like, hey, So what if it was 47 years ago? And
I've also seen it reported that you said that this was part of a wrestling angle. Is that part of like to just get the people to leave you the fuck alone at this point?
Well, I mean,
what's the story?
Well, and it got so. I mean, I had people, my friends from Germany, Japan, Australia. I'm thinking of the ones that sent me news articles because it was in the newspapers in these countries.
Yeah.
I mean, it was worldwide. You know, wrestlers' kills. And the thing that got me the most was everybody was calling me a murderer. Now, what about that little 13-year-old kid that was getting raped?
Correct.
What do you think the rapists do to a lot of their victims afterwards? they kill him.
Correct.
So, I mean, how are y'all calling me a murderer and you don't care a shit about the kid? I just didn't understand that. But when it, Inside Edition got it, People Magazine, TMZ, of course, they don't miss a trick.
Yeah.
And,
Of course.
you know, when they caught all that fire, like, shit, and now the police are investigating, I mean, and all that shit. So I figured out that, you know, this was a storyline I was creating. You know, and the plan was this, and still might be. I don't know if it's going to work now that everybody knows it. I'm supposedly got away with murder. It worked. Everybody called me a murderer. And I got a friend named Darren Kelly. He wrestles as the guard. He's pretty good. But he really was a correction officer. You ever see the movie Sling Blade?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of them mustard biscuit. That guy, he looks like him, you know. So but he's built big as hell. Well, the storyline would go: here's a wayward cop, you know, disgruntled cop that really wants to get back in good graces. So he's going to take me in, and you know, save face, right? Yeah. And so you know, we turned it into the show wrestling match where if he wins, I go peacefully. He takes me in. If I win, leave me the hell alone, you know, and let it go. Right. But it never really got that far because fucking police and what was it? What's it called? Where closed case, cold case 5. Okay, yeah. All these people. I mean, in real life, were getting involved, and I'm like, gosh dang, I better turn this into a storyline. Yeah. So because on the real side of it, I didn't drag him to the river. One of my buddies, we drug him over the woods and poured gas on him and burned him up. And do you know bones don't burn all the way through like you think?
It takes a while.
Yeah, there was a bunch of big chunks left.
So basically, you don't regret it.
Well, I ain't happy about it. I mean, they ain't stuff putting stars on my arms. They're just, you know. I'd like to say.
Is that your first traumatic moment as a kid?
No, it was some earlier.
You've had earlier things happen. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, but not like that.
No, not quite like that, but.
No, okay. Some of the beatings that from family members were kind of rough. I won't say who, but yeah, that was.
But you had problems with your family.
What's that?
You had problems with your family.
No, when we was young, just one of the members of the family wasn't real good at correcting. You know, mm-hmm. Not knowing how to spank right. Mm-hmm. Probably went way overboard a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, using a coat hanger instead of a belt and stuff like that.
So do you think you got into professional wrestling just to get away from all of it and just start a new life and be away from what you were going through?
No, I hated moving furniture.
Well, there you go.
That's easy enough.
No, I mean, I love sports anyway, you know. But just so I don't get in trouble again with the police now, we started a new investigation. It's all a storyline for wrestling. I'm a pro wrestler for 35 years. You know, I actually created the barbershop window, even though Sean likes to say he did, for the Nasty Boys. Don't even make sense. I mean, I saw him do an interview. Like, yeah, that was the idea I had for us and the Nasty Boys. No, when? No, me and him sat and we kicked it back and forth and fine-tooth combed it. And, you know, but that storyline is still around today. 27 years, 28 years. How long is it now? 27 years.
Time. One of the greatest storylines in the history of wrestling.
Yeah, and so now evidently has just started another good one. It got worldwide. When's the last time WWF or AEW or whoever else is around right now? When's the last time they got on Inside Edition or worldwide? Everybody shooting newspapers with them in it over a storyline.
Right.
I can answer, never.
Not lately.
Well, let's go even back further because the few times you've been on, we didn't even ask you about this. What was the whole deal with your daughter and then wanting to have sex with her?
Nah, that was a hack job. That wasn't me at all.
So what happened there?
Actually, I got a call one morning, early, 5 or 6, and somebody said, "Marty, you need to take that off your Facebook." I'm like, "Take what off? What are you talking about? I ain't even been on there tonight." And they said, you know about Bianca. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I haven't said nothing about Bianca. And he said, Marty, you must have got drunk and forgot. I said, I'm not even drunk. Do you hear me? But they said, there's a thing on your page about you wanting to have sex with Bianca, your daughter. And I'm like, whoa, shit. And I went and I looked, and there wasn't nothing there. Because evidently it got attention real fast, too.
Yeah.
And whoever did it, however that works. I don't know how to hack world. I don't know how that works. I know I changed my password like, shit, 4 or 5 times a year. But it's still, somehow I get hacked all the time. But you wasn't
You
there.
may want to use something besides rocker with your birthday or something.
Yeah. No, I got a complicated one. It's just
I got him again. I got him again.
World Star.
Oh my God.
But
I need Sean 72.
yeah.
$40 bad Mexican bag. What? Ay.
We got a fan out there.
Yeah, but on that, I didn't see anything, so I thought they would, bullshit me. But then the incoming, I was just seeing people were like, "You're sick, man. You're crazy."
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Well,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Well, what's happened? I didn't even see it. I don't know what." And then somebody sent it, had photocopied or whatever, and sent it to me. And all I could do was like, fuck. Does people really? Here's my question still. If I was going to want to have sex with my damn daughter, do you think I'd tell the internet? What the fuck?
Nice rabbit, you might.
It's just. And the thing is, they got picked up by 4 different major magazines, like New York Times or some shit, Washington something, L.A., The Sun, all that. Every time it's something fucking horrible on me, hey man, let's get on it. But when I go see a kid in cancer in his last days, or donate a lot of money to a special needs program, nothing, nothing. Just when did you murder somebody, or did you want to fuck your daughter, or did you saw a dog's tail off and wear your hat?
It may sound strange, but do you ever worry about how the WWE will perceive you when these things are out there about you?
Nah, they already blocked me for life.
Do you really feel that way at this point? There's no chance of them ever, calling you or making amends or putting you where you belong, because you belong in the Hall of Fame.
Well, they couldn't do that for a while because it was involved in a lawsuit with CTE,
Okay.
and they couldn't even answer. They couldn't even talk to me on the phone if I called up to find out why the check was late. Like royalty check. They couldn't even talk to me on the phone. I had to go through their lawyer if I wanted to talk to them, which I didn't want to talk to them that bad. But
how would Marty Jannetty like to be able to talk to Vince if you decided, you know what, let me at least try to speak to them? What would be a respectful way for them to come, and meet you halfway? Would it be you meeting with Vince directly?
Vince and I are on great terms.
Okay.
I always said that if I could have got to him instead of, get to the horse's mouth, not his ass, or however that goes.
So you feel there are people in the way right now to get you to be able to sit down and talk to Vince and maybe get back on the same page, get you in the Hall of Fame, or?
I mean, you know what? As much as I would love to be in the Hall of Fame, and I think I honestly, for some of the people, Donald
You're a Hall
Trump's
of
in there.
You're a Hall of Famer, absolutely.
If Donald Trump's in there, how can I not be?
You're a Hall of Famer, absolutely.
Mark, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and I want to talk about CTE. Okay. All right, we'll be right back with future Hall of Famer Marty Jannetty. In the mood for a freshly roasted cup of coffee? www.offtherailscoffeeroasters.com.
Jeff Quest, graphics design, custom vinyl lettering, and all your art and video needs. 516-317-8204. That's for Jeff Quest, graphic design. The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
And Varola Worldwide Logistics for all your logistic needs. Please call 862-227-3670. Once again, that's 862-227-3670. Varola Worldwide Logistics.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte the Pharaoh, seen only here, usually on Thursdays, out of Indie Music TV and Ronkonkoma. But today we have future Hall of Famer, WWE superstar, former tag team champion for the AWA, Mr. Marty Jannetty.
And a future dentist.
And a future dentist who will come up with the copyright or trademark for paper teeth.
Getting it in there just right.
Are you
And
gonna
we got
carry any
no
teeth in
BS
oak
with
tag?
ESS. Eric Sims over here.
Wait a minute. Pharaoh's got
I got a
with
great
the
idea.
yellow teeth, oak tag.
Are you going to carry any paper teeth and oak tag? Because it would be like, first of all, people would pay more. It's more of a deluxe paper tooth item.
Yeah.
Oak tag. I think it would be like, the deluxe version of the paper tooth model.
I
no?
see that working.
I think it's a great idea.
Now, hey, whatever, some of the strangest things. Duke Drosy, remember Drosy?
You can make them realistic too. They could come with fillings. Like put a little black spot on it.
Did I tell you what with the white ones, when I put the fresh white paper in, I
Yeah.
got to drink coffee so it yellows it down.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
What's sad, though, is when I find brown napkins, I can put it in there, it matches my teeth.
Everybody's like, oh,
That means
look at that
my
guy
teeth,
smile.
My teeth got to get clean, man.
You're the original. You're the
There's
original.
dirty as that damn brown.
Isaac Yankem.
Yeah, him.
Brown napkins.
I had his first match when he first came in WWF.
Isaac
No.
Yankem, a.k.a. Kane, huh?
Really?
Yeah, oh my God, is he strong. And when he didn't know what to do with it, he's even stronger.
Really?
Yeah, he was throwing me around like a rag doll. And they're like, why'd you do that? Because I don't know, ain't I supposed to?
So talk to us about the CTE issues.
Well, and just to hit real quick why I even got involved with the lawsuit with CTE against WWE. If anybody's ever had it, it's me, because it's brain damage, and it's from concussions. And your brain is basically, you take an egg, and you shake it real hard, that yolk, it's hitting the shell. But that's the same with your brain, and athletes with high-impact sports like football, wrestling, hockey, martial arts, that head's getting scrambled a bit, and I really, they had just sued. I won't mention any names, but the law firm that, if I'm talking funny because its tooth ain't quite right, but the law firm that sued NFL and won like $2 billion, the same one that was going after. But with the NFL, they've changed their whole concussions protocol now. Everything is so different. So I guess it sometimes a spanking the ass makes you understand and change things. But but I always had the thought, like, okay, you're boxing, you're playing football, you martial arts. You don't think you're gonna get your bell rung a few times? Did the company need to tell you? But I guess it's the awareness of what that can do to you, the concussion.
How many concussions do you think you've taken over the length of your career?
Probably at least 7 or 8 that I can name. That's how brutal they were. I think the worst one was from Kevin Nash, and we were over in England, that big old stadium they got over there. A lot of people, and he was just coming in as Diesel. He was starting as Diesel, and he would do the power bomb thing. And I'm working with him over there, and he sticks his arms out, and the place went crazy. Like 50,000 people going crazy. And so he got excited, and he, wham, boom, my head bounced off the. As far as I knew, when I looked up, Joey Morella, God rest his soul, he's like hovering right above me, and I'm looking at him. There's about 3 of them, and I'm like, "Why is there 3 of you?" And he goes, dude, and he goes, your eyes are still crossed. You got knocked out. Like, really? And that one I remember, that one and one in Japan were probably the hardest ones. The one in Japan, damn it, sorry about the tooth. I was wrestling their light heavyweight champion. We had a championship match. And we had just flown, man, 14 hours that's just from L.A. to Tokyo, and then had to catch like an hour drive. I mean, we were worn down, tired, and just do I have enough in me to go out there and give a 45-minute match? With this guy, he was good. I mean, he was all over the place, up and down, flying around, and I'm supposed to be able to try to hang with that, and I could do some flying, but anyway. We did one spot, went over the top rope, and it hit the floor. And, way back now, it's nice and padded out there. There was nothing but the concrete floor. And somebody'd sweat, either somebody got slammed and sweat was there, or somebody spilled a beer or something. But I slipped back and wham! Back of my head hit the railing. It was like, ting! The whole place got quiet. I like slid down the wall like the railing like a sheet of paper, and man, everything I could see everything went white for a second, and then as it started coming back in the picture, it was just fuzzy. It was like how a TV gets staticky, the old TVs, staticky. It was like that, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to get back in the ring. I got to go finish this match. And the guy was, he was Japanese, and he was, okay, you're okay, Marty, you okay? And I'm like, yes, let's go, let's hurry up and finish. Ain't that okay? But and we finished the match and stuff. But I had a headache for like a week after that, So that's a pretty brutal one. So those are the two that stand out the most. One other one, and Vince, you'll be involved in the story, is that. Oh God, what were the name? Cue Ball and 8 Ball. They were the two big Harris brothers.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That I forgot what they were going as.
8 Ball. He must have been a rip after hours.
Yeah, but they did their finish, which was they shoot me, and it was me and Al Snow when we was doing the New Rockers. And they each gets a thigh, raises you up, and then takes you back. It's sort of like a power, what do you call it, power bomb, but two guys doing it. And damn it, bam! I'm laying there. Next thing I know, Al Snow's over top of me. Like, it was Monday night. It was Raw. It was a live show. And he's like trying to roll me over, but I'm like, I'm still half-ass out of it. And like I said, it's a live show. We got to, there ain't no commercial breaks, or whatever. And we got to the edge, and I was able to get up, and Al helped me walk to the back. And as soon as I got through the curtains, I plopped right there. There was some a roll of old wrestling, amateur wrestling mats there. I laid on that thing, and trying to get my shit together. And Vince comes in. I guess they took a break, a commercial break. I threw the timing off for the show, because you got segments, 20 minutes and a 5-minute break. I guess I screwed it all up, but hell, how could I? I mean, I couldn't help it. And, he came through the curtains, and he looked at me, and he just gave me a dirt, it was the most angry stare I'd ever seen from him. And then he walked off, and I'm like, what the fuck is that about? And then the next day, that was at, I don't remember where it was, Madison Square Garden, possibly. And I know it was Monday Night Raw. The next night, we were in Nassau Coliseum, which here in Long Island. They still call it that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they might have other words, but we got
yeah. It. Uniondale Arena, was it?
They're calling it something nowadays. I don't know what it is. I'm a Ranger fan.
It's
What is it?
It's still Nassau Coliseum.
Is it?
Is it Nassau Coliseum?
Sure, they're not currently calling it something else, though. I think they've got other fancy names. Somebody took it over.
Right next to
Oh,
Nassau
nice.
Coliseum. I did jobs at Nassau
Hofstra.
Coliseum.
Yeah, they used to be a football
Hofstra's
team
right
at their
there, yeah.
school.
But yeah, the next day I'm going in for that show, and Vince comes walking up next to me. We're coming in at the same time. He put his arm, around me, and he goes, "I understand you was really hurt yesterday." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I apologize. I thought you was just overselling."
Interesting.
Now, What are the effects you have now from it, though?
Yeah, what are the long-term effects
Yeah.
of the concussions over the
I
years?
hallucinate a lot. I got and I can't name some names, but I'll tell you one thing. This real odd. Well, a lot of things are odd, and this has only started in the last year. I can be walking through a house. Damn, I'm sorry, this paper thing ain't working this time. There goes my dentist license.
We might have to upgrade to plastic teeth.
I can be walking through the house. Fine, I'm going to the kitchen and get a sandwich, and watch the rest of the Braves game. But something happens on the way. All of a sudden, I start crying. I mean, not not like that, but just real tears of sadness. It'll stream down, and you feel the emotion. That emotion that usually comes with. And you know what it is? I put too much tooth in there.
Dude, get rid of that tooth. It's a menace. We'll
But
put a Facebook post up about it later.
that better?
I'm not sure.
It feels better.
There you go.
But
It actually looks very good. I got to be honest with you. I'm like, it looks perfectly fine.
if I get it right, you can't tell.
You cannot tell.
But I'm sitting there, tears. I shouldn't say crying, but tears, and the emotion is sad. Like, I mean that. Oh man, that hurt. Oh, so sad. But I'm like, well, what the hell's what? There's nothing wrong, And I talked to one of the other guys about it. We were just talking about it because a bunch of us have it. And I'd mentioned to him about the crying. He told me not to ever say his name, so I won't. But he's big time, and y'all would know. Everybody would know him. But he said, when I told him about it, I said, "Have you started doing this yet?" And I told him about. I walked through the house and I'll start crying for no reason. And I actually feel that emotion. And he started crying on the phone with me. And he I said, "What's the matter, man?" He said, "I've been doing that, and I thought I was the only one." He's been doing the same thing, and he thought, and then another one. Well, I hope Joe don't mind me. He didn't tell me not to say, but Joe told me that he's done. He said in the most recent. That he was getting these emotional feelings that he never had before. Not don't mean like loving Kimmy or anything like that.
I understand.
Just being he so emotional, that he wasn't that kind of a person. So it's that's one of the effects. There's it's still, even though it's like 10 years now they've been that what's his name, Nowinski,
Yep.
the dude from
Christopher Lewinsky.
yeah, he's heading to study on it. So since thank God for him, they're looking into it and studying it now. But it's still fresh. I mean, they still don't know a whole lot about it because you can't do much till after the person's died. Then you examine the brain and try to go from there.
So I asked this: if you have CTE, we all know the story about Aaron Hernandez, right?
Oh,
and what he
right.
did.
And Benoit.
Right.
Right.
Do you feel that both of those people have an excuse because of the CTE issues?
Well, I'll put it this way: you don't really know what you're doing. Give you an example. Probably a couple weeks ago, I called my brother, Gino. He's my hero in life. My dad was too, but he's gone. But I called my brother because every time I panic on something, he always gets me through it. And I called him. I live right by Fort Benning, and they train the paratroopers out there. And where I'm at right now is probably 5 miles from the field. And I called my brother, and I said, "Hey man, I don't know what's going on. The Fort Benning's they're landing a fucking helicopter in the front yard." And I'm sitting there looking at it, and my brother's like, "Marty, there's trees all in the front yard. There's nowhere they can land it." I'm looking at it. They're sitting. He goes, "What are they doing?" I said, they're just sitting there, and I don't know why. I mean, they're sitting in the front yard here. I'm waiting for them to come out. I can see them inside on the little CB or, whatever the things are. I said, what are they doing? What am I supposed to do? He goes, take a picture of it and send it to me. So I said, well, okay, don't leave me now. Don't stay on the phone. I took a picture. And then my phone, you have to be off of it to send the picture. So I got off the phone with him and told him I'll call right back. And I took 2 pictures, from blurry, you get a good one. And I looked at him, no, there wasn't no helicopter there. It was just a yard. Mm-hmm. And then maybe the next day, I sat there, because when these attacks come, they come together and then they're gone. There's nothing for a while, and then bam, bam, bam. I was sitting there probably watching the Falcons blow another lead, but they.
We're Jet fans. You're not going to get.
Yeah,
any
you
sympathy.
get no sympathy from
You
us,
get
man.
nothing here.
I saw that last night, man.
Move on with that Falcon crap.
Yeah, too bad. I got 2 words for you, Adam Gase. Go on.
But I was sitting there watching the Falcons. They had the Cowboys beat by 20 or something, and slowly there it goes, just like a Super Bowl.
Oh man.
Oh, Super Bowl. We haven't seen one of those in a
Yeah.
long time. So, again, move on, Falcon fan.
Yeah, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. And you nerf football.
But I was sitting there, and then I look up, and I'm on my couch. My cat Swaggy sitting next to me watching. He watches TV with me a lot.
Cool.
He always has since
He's a
kid.
Falcon fan, Braves fan.
No, he just wants to eat the Falcon. He's a cat.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's pretty much what he's got. The color scheme though, black and white.
There you go.
Talking about Swaggy.
Swag.
Yeah, and but so I'm sitting there.
Everybody knows swag.
I'm sitting there. It started off being the Swag Star, but then it was Swaggy was better. Trimmed it down.
Star.
But
Can he cut a promo?
he will. He won't understand it, but
You better hide those paper teeth. He'll knock them all over the floor.
yeah. I tried to get him to wear some, but they. So sitting over here is the Grim Reaper, and I'm looking at him and like, when did you get here? And it wasn't even like it was odd, I carried on conversation and we laughed a bunch, and then I got hungry. I said, I'm gonna go get a sandwich. You want one? And he's like, no, good. And I went and, before we back it up, I thought, this is kind of cool, man. You got a bad reputation, but you're a cool guy. Let me take a picture. It's kind of cool. You're sitting here on my couch. And,
I can't tell if he's having head trauma or a shining. It's like it sounds like a shining to me. Go on.
So you want a picture of the Reaper?
Yeah, I took a couple of them. And, and then, a little while later, went to get a sandwich and, went and fixed up and come back and he was gone. And I was actually disappointed. I was like, I was having a great time with him. He didn't even say goodbye. But I thought, well, that was kind of cool if they stopped by, And then kept watching the game, and sure enough, the Falcons blew it. But later on, I was going to brag about the Grim Reaper being at my house and send them, to my friends. And I'm looking at the pictures, and it's just an empty couch. The thing is, when you're going through one of these things, you don't realize you're going through them. It's as real as this right here. I mean, hell, I might be hallucinating now. This might not be happening.
Oh, no, we're not here.
But that's how it feels so real.
We got a lot of fans out there that are saying they're worried about you.
Well, I'm worried about me.
What
Swaggy's
kind of-
worried.
what kind of message do
Swaggy's
you have
worried
to
about
say
his
to your
next
fans?
meal.
What's that?
Swaggy's worried about me. He wants to be able to make sure he gets his next meal and his litter box cleaned out.
So you going to get help for this, or?
Well, I mean, I don't know what they can do for you for CTE. Eric might know. Is there anything they can do for CTE?
Eric has it. What the?
I don't think there's anything they can do really. Okay, so they come up with 13 symptoms, however they managed to do that, and that's when I first found out I had it with my attorney. That by the way, that case is gone, so I can go into Hall of Fame. Couldn't before, but anyway, my attorney was saying, here's the list of the things of reading them like. Yep, got that one. Yep, got that one. Yep, got that. And then I'm like, after about 6 one, I'm like, well, maybe I do got the shit. Yeah. And then I went through the list, and this was when I was living in Vegas. My girlfriend out there was sitting next to me, and I said, well, I got them all but these 2, the last 2. And he goes, what last 2? I said, well, the one that says sudden violent mood changes. I don't have that. And she goes, oh, yes, you do. She screams that. And I'm like, well, I got 12 of the 13. The only one I don't have is the suicidal
You
thoughts.
want to know about the treatment? I can tell you about the treatment of CTE.
Okay.
Okay? Your cult hero ESS in the background
If
here.
anybody can hear him.
ESS has got he's on it.
Behavioral therapy to deal with mood swings. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, pain management therapy, including medicines, massage, and acupuncture to relieve the discomfort.
I'm not massaging him.
Number three, memory exercises to strengthen the ability to recall daily events. That is the prescribed treatment.
Hold
for
on, you missed
CTE.
number 4. Number 4 is never use Eric Sim as your agent when you're traveling through the Northeast.
What is going on here?
Captain's quarter shot.
And he's gonna help.
You just got the cards.
If you decide to
Listen,
throw
we got
something, I'm ducking.
about 2 minutes.
What?
Pharaoh.
Yeah.
With the
You
last
lost me on that one. I don't know what that one was all about.
I gotta hit him with the last question.
But where'd you find that, Eric? I'm going to check that out
This
later.
is the treatment for CTE. I just put in how do you treat CTE.
Okay.
No, that's what his doctor
I
emailed.
will have to check that out later.
It's on Google. Dr. Google.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doctor.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
Dr. Google.
That's another thing, short-term memory. I mean, as you get older anyway, right?
Marty, behavioral therapy. You prime candidate.
What's wrong with my behavior?
Absolutely
The
nothing.
sheet is so long here.
Absolutely
What
nothing.
was the thing he said at the last time he was here? I can go for that shit. The next thing I know, the whole studio's upside down. Yeah, you got a temper. My God.
Behavioral therapy. We don't
Behavioral
want nobody
therapy.
getting beat up over here.
Did you see that, Eric?
Of course I saw that.
Of course
you-
I did not see that.
All right, Sims, you're cutting into our time.
Marty, one final question.
Yes, sir.
What would you like to see in the future from Marty Jannetty happen in a positive way? What would you like to see happen?
You know, working with kids in some capacity of with wrestling. You know, I've always wanted to do a wrestling school with kids and start a kids league pro wrestling, you know, style pro wrestling. That's always been my thing. I mentioned it with Sean one time, Michaels, you know, and he thought it was cool, and I'm surprised he didn't take it and go do it himself, you know. But because he knew it was my passion thing, he left it alone because he probably could have easily, you know, went to Vince. That's the thing. If I could get to Vince's ear on so many of these things, like with my ankles to get them fixed, you know, if I could have got to Vince himself, I'm sure he would fix them, you know.
So let me ask you a question. A lot of wrestling experts or pro wrestling experts out there, we've discussed this before. Should the WWE be taking care of its older wrestlers who helped build this brand?
When they're still making money off of them, yes. For instance, with me, I still get royalty checks. It shows how much they made last quarter.
Right.
And they can take some of that money and fix my ankles. And that's just from one quarter.
So let me.
So, yeah, they should.
At
That's
the
why I jumped in the CTE thing, because I definitely got it.
At the last studio we were at, Evan Ginsberg, who was the associate producer for the the movie The Wrestler.
And 350 days.
Well, he did a documentary, 350 Days.
Well, they did.
You're in that.
Yeah.
So I ask you this: How well did they pay you for that documentary?
The one 350?
Yeah,
I don't remember. But it was decent. You know, it was
they
good.
took care of you.
Yeah, it was good.
That's
Yeah,
good.
they were good people to me.
That's good.
Very good.
what would you like to see
Then, but
happen?
then, Rob Feinstein kind of screwed me over later that evening. Fucker.
Well, what's that?
We've made up since. Well, but at the show where I did that, there was actually a wrestling event and all that, and
Right.
then, you know, we shot my scene
Okay.
there. And then afterwards, on one side, there was like, say, a curtain like you got over there, dividing to where all the sales, merchandise sales and stuff during the day, like a WrestleCon type thing during the day. And I was on that side, and I was actually calling my brother, telling him, because they had a barbershop window
Yeah.
set thing. And I thought it was kind of cool, and you spin the wheel, and it said, you know, what on the barbershop did you want, or you win, or whatever. I thought it was kind of cool, and I'm over there taking pictures of it, and I'm on the phone with my brother, and Feinstein's back there looking through the curtain, sees me over there, and sees me picking stuff up and looking at it, and he assumes I'm stealing shit. And he went and posted that everywhere. Marty was stealing shit.
Wow.
And you know, he said, and he acted like he was on the phone, which I was on the phone with my brother. So
Right.
there's a witness, you know, besides the call log, you know, and so that kind of upset me.
Why
Now,
do you accept the apology then?
well, at first I tried to sue him for slander, you know, because he's telling the whole world I'm over there stealing shit.
Right.
And, you know, same old story, man. I can get sued, but I can never sue back.
But again, I ask you, right? You know, some of the worst things you could call someone is a thief, right? That's like probably one of the top 2.
What's that?
To call someone a thief is like one of the top 2 worst things you could. Why forgive him? Why even talk to him anymore?
You know, I'm stupid like that. You know, I forgive people for stupid.
just
I
forgive
forgave
me.
y'all for something. You remember
you're
the
just forgiving.
first time I came through?
Mm-hmm.
You felt like I had been doing to me. You know, I'd left the pizza man.
Right.
By the way, he said y'all made up in something. He called me, left me a pretty good, nice message about y'all did good.
Yeah, we're clearly at indie music now.
Yeah.
It's been a godsend.
thing.
We enjoyed our time over at Village Connection.
Doing our
Yeah.
thing.
We grew, and look, the pizza thing, it blew up for a little while, and then guess what? We all got over it, right? We moved on to bigger and better things.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't say that we're friends, you know what I mean? But it's nothing, we just move on, right?
Yeah.
But again, my point is, I don't talk to him. So
Yeah.
it's like, why be friends with someone you don't, that
Well, I take
disrespects
it.
you
You
like
know.
Marty, one last thing before you go, and thanks for coming down again. By the
Well,
way,
thank
this
y'all
is
for
a-
having me. Y'all
this
need
is
to
a-
call me more often. I'll see you once in a while. Or no, where's the other brother, Savelli?
He's over at the other station.
Why'd you laugh?
We're breaking the fourth wall.
No, it's fine.
We ain't breaking
There's
any
no broke. Look, we were at Village. Show did very well over at Village. We wanted to move into a larger production studio because we
It's
wanted
a nice
to advance
one
the
here.
show.
Definitely nice.
Thank you.
And we parted ways, and we always wished Jim the best.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
And,
he's good. I like him, man.
Yeah, he's
you
an
know,
okay.
He
he's an
keeps
okay
up
guy.
with me. Y'all never say hello no more.
What's that?
He usually says hello. I mean, once in a while, even from Facebook. Y'all don't never say hello once I'm gone.
I'm not even on Facebook
Who,
anymore.
we're talking about me?
Both of y'all, you know.
You don't even friend me, dude. I'm not even friends on Facebook.
What is going on here?
But listen, Marty, I gotta tell you, you've always been a really great guest and a really, really stand-up human being.
Well,
So,
thank you. I
and,
appreciate that.
I really, honestly, I'm very impressed over the fact that you remember the people that like Savelli and Pizza Guy, Romano, and
Please.
that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Well, how often do you call the Pizza Guy? A lot?
Oh, I don't call him. He calls me every so
Oh,
often.
because I heard you call him all the time.
Oh, here we go.
No, that's what I heard, that you call him all the time.
No,
It's like,
he probably calls me. In fact, I got one. That'd be rude to play it because it's personal. But that's the one where he was thanking me for hooking y'all. He says, we got together and it was because of you, because you tried to, mend the bridge between us,
Right.
and something other. It was pretty nice. But the most recent one, he just calls. He's like, you want to? You know how he talks. Marty, you want to come up here? You spend Christmas. I know you got better things to do. But you're welcome. Love you, brother. Love
No,
you.
because I thought I heard somewhere where you had called him and you wanted to do some kind of comedy hour with him or something. And you were kind
No,
of
actually,
blowing
he
up his
mentioned
phone.
that. No, he mentioned that to me. It was me and one of was it? Were you? Oh, were you? Okay, I missed.
Oh, don't worry.
No, I'm sorry.
didn't miss anything.
I hear things, and I'm
it's
just
just
trying to
good.
get clarity on what's actually happening.
I promise you, this is not vodka.
Pharaoh, last question.
Yeah, please. Can I please? You guys all done now? The last thing. Okay, you express, and this is important to
This
me.
is
and
the
I think
last thing.
Marty, I think this should be.
The last thing. He's got to
I
go.
think this should be
No,
important.
I'm good.
I think this should. We're back to Claude Rains, the invisible Jannetty.
They got a
You know what? You know what? This may work better with the mask on. You express frustration that you can't get to Vince. Okay, here's your shot, because I know for a fact Vince watches us.
No, he does.
What
not.
would you? Yes, he does. What would you say to Vince McMahon if you had a chance to say something to Vince McMahon right now? What would you say to Vince McMahon?
Love you, brother. Miss you.
Give me a call.
Give me a call.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll
Well, that was
answer.
heartfelt. Vince's whole touched. Wow.
Well, no, I mean, I don't.
I don't know if he's going to forgive you from the last show you were on when I put that picture of Stephanie up there. I don't
Man.
know if that's going to
You know, that was another work. That was another thing that got too much attention.
way too much.
You just, I tell you about the first time I ever met Stephanie. I got nothing but respect for her, man, because she's always been good to me. And I don't mean like that, but
Looking for trouble.
Did she own a bowling alley at some point?
you know, somebody put one of the memes up. It says, and it was something funny, and it said, when your drug dealer tries to get fresh with you behind the bowling alley.
All right, with that, this has been Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Future Hall of Famer Marty Jannetty. Catch Marty
And dentist.
Jannetty on the virtual signing on Captain's Corner's live
Captain Corner.
Facebook page, right?
Be ordered.
Captain Corner.
Yep, Captain Score.
Yeah.
Captain's Corner. Captain's Corner. Wake up there.
He'll be
All right.
autographing paper teeth.
This is Mike Monte.
This is the Pharaoh. Stay tuned for our next guest, Barry Horowitz. Later.
Barry's here.